waiting. We gotta go. I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
And welcome to another episode of Space-Tastic Discussions. And before we start the show today, I know this is not Star Wars or Rebel Moon related, but I just wanted to say a quick thing for BVS Day. On this day, I cannot count right now, 8 years ago, BVS premiered. My second favorite movie ever. And just wanted to say a quick shout out. Great movie. And, we are talking Zack Snyder in this episode at least. So, not completely unrelated, but just wanted to give it a quick shout out. So for today's show, we are reviewing The Bad Batch, the first 8 episodes. And we will also cover the Rebel Moon Part 2 trailer and the Acolyte trailer. And I'm really excited to bring this guy on my show today because I always have this guy on for Marvel. He's my co-host for Marvelous Discussions, and he's more than just a Marvel guy. He likes Star Wars too. So please welcome me as I bring this person on the show. Please welcome Sox Bulletins, who is doing this backstage. Hello, Sox. How are you? You ready to do this show?
I need a Christmas tree and lights stacked.
Well, you don't have that out. No, I have my boys to torture you. Oh yeah, Sox. I guess you probably don't understand this joke, do you?
Son's going to get the one punch in. No, I don't get that one.
If you saw yesterday's show, if you catch yesterday's show on replay, you'll understand it. That's all I'll say.
All right. I'm going to watch it then. Hey guys, glad to be back on the show. Gonna talk some Star Wars. I even changed hats. I'm wearing my Star Wars hat today. And it's based on Empire Strikes Back. So, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to have you on for Star Wars because you technically were on Space-Tastic Discussions before at the first episode. You weren't the official guest, but I did a trailer reaction for my Christmas intro.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is like the first time, though, you're like my official guest for Space-Tastic Discussions. And the second time you come on... Fox, you added... Okay. Well,
thank you.
Officially...
That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Officially, Bat Dance Thoughts does not condone piracy in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. What people do outside this channel, though, that I can't control, well, that's their own business.
Then all questions and complaints to my co-host Bat Dan. It's not Bulletins. I have nothing to say about what he just said. Thank you.
So, are you ready? Oh, okay, fair enough. So, anyway, should we get started?
No, I think we should get started.
That's what I just said. Okay, so now, before we get to the main topic, let's discuss this trailer. Rebel Moon Part 2. I guess we'll start with you, Sox. Was your overall thoughts on this trailer?
It's definitely more fast-paced, I thought, than from what we saw from the first trailer, from the first movie. And again, I'm hyped. I saw it, and I watched it a couple of times, and I thought, okay, you got my attention. Like, you had my attention from the first film, even though I'm waiting to see the rated R version of the first film. I felt like I was being robbed the PG-13 version, but that's fine. That's fine. But we're not here to talk about the original movie. We're here to talk about the trailer. So I'm stoked, man. I'm ready to see it.
I am too, and what I like about the trailer is that you see the plot, what's going on with the trailer right away, and is like you see from the very get-go, you see that that Korra's crew are training the village on how to fight the Mother World. You actually see what the plot is of the second movie, and you see. Hold on a second, just got to get something. You see this guy right here being a badass.
Yeah. I like him. I like that character a lot.
Jimmy is just so awesome. He was my favorite character in the first movie, and I can't wait to see him more in this movie.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see him unleashed in the second film. I really am, because he seems so, like out of, not out of place, but he was like you saw him, you knew he had his part in it, but I'm waiting for him to come unglued and do what needs to be done for the second film.
Jeez, Corey, I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, Corey.
See, Anakin's different because Anakin actually had a good reason. Is that Obi-Wan gave up on him and everyone let him down. There's an excuse.
Okay. I'm here now, and I'm gonna say what I've been wanting to say for months. Obi-Wan did not give up on anybody.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he totally did. Obi-Wan completely gave up on Anakin. So that is what it is right there. Oh, yep, we are. Yep, same here, Zod Rider. And yeah, see, Corey says Obi-Wan gave up. Whereas no one gave up on Atticus Noble, but...
Whatever. Anyway. Search this!
But in the trailer, though, I love just seeing the molten swords in action. Seeing, I think that's what you call them, the lightsaber equivalent. Seeing Korra, Korra, is such a badass with those sabers. Like, you can really see great fight choreography.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you, Corey. I'm just playing around. I know what you're saying, but okay. Get back on track here, because I'm gonna get down on top of a tangent when it comes to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and yeah.
But I guess what are some of the key points you noticed from the trailer?
When I saw them all getting ready to train for the upcoming fight, that told me that, danger's coming. We gotta get ready for this, because it's basically the Empire is coming towards the Rebels. I'm tired of people saying, "Well, Zack just ripped off Star Wars." I don't see it as a ripoff. I really never did see that. I saw it as an inspiration. There's a difference between ripoff and inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference. I don't see Zack ripping off Star Wars. I see inspiration. I hate when people confuse one thing for another. And by watching I'm gonna have to say for what it is, since they don't already have a name. The rebels are training to fight the Empire. I got jazzed up, man, because we know what's coming. We know it's gonna be a long, hard fight, and not everybody's gonna probably survive.
Yeah, exactly. There will be some death. There will definitely be some death in the village, and
Yeah.
you can tell in this trailer, Atticus Noble's upset. You can tell this guy, he's back with a vengeance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only way you're gonna have to really lay this, use the rock term. You're gonna lay the smackdown on these bad guys, man, to stop them completely. It's the only way it's gonna work.
Yeah, I agree. Because my thing is, if Rebel Moon is a ripoff of Star Wars, then Star Wars is a ripoff on Dune. If we're going to
And
use
really,
that logic.
well, I mean, you see what people don't
I'm
understand
not-
about what people don't understand about movies at all about movies. Everything is inspired by something, whether it's a movie, a show, a comic book, a novel. Everything comes from inspiration from something. Star Wars was inspired by Joseph Campbell, The Seven Samurai. What else? Dune. I mean, it goes on and on and on because inspiration. Somebody could see something that, oh, I'll use this, or I'll use that, and I'll borrow some of this, I'll borrow some of that, and then put it together and create their own thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Everything comes from somewhere. Nothing is original 100%. You're inspired by certain things to create your own thing. That's fine. I can respect that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just what it is with Rebel Moon. It's Zack's own thing entirely.
Yeah.
And there's some different elements as well. And what's really interesting from the trailer is I think you're going to get a lot more flashbacks. See, like, I think you're going to get the flashbacks of how Princess Issa fell. Because you see more of Korra accompanying the family on stuff. And it's going to be really interesting. I think we're going to see a lot more of her backstory in this trailer, too. Or in this movie, I mean.
Do you think that Blood Axe is dead?
No, I do not think Blood X is dead. Because first of all, he was way too cool of a character to be killed off like that. But my thing is, if Atticus Noble survived, then Blood X is definitely alive.
He's got to be. He was such a great character, and to wipe him out that fast would have been an atrocity on itself. Man, because I actually, man, that character. I saw that character. I was like, whoa, this guy's something else, man.
Yeah, like, exactly, 100%. And we'll definitely talk about another character possibly being alive in a different franchise later on in this video, but in this stream. But yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. To me, the trailer did exactly what it needed to do. It showed action, it showed what the plot of the movie is going to be, and it showed where all the characters are going to be standing, where they are. And you can see at a certain point where Jimmy's telling Korra, that traditional you can't win, and then we know Korra they'll win at the end, or maybe not completely win because there's still more to the story after this movie, but oh my God, Corey.
See what you started here back then? You see what you started here? Now look at that.
I can't believe I actually disagree with Corey. I can't believe I'm actually saying Corey is wrong. Like, here's the thing. Dooku, if you watch Tales of the Jedi, you understand his backstory. If you watch Tales of the Jedi, you'll side with Dooku. If you watch the prequels, you side with Anakin because you see their backstory. With Noble, you don't see that. He's just a sadistic asshole.
Send all complaints and questions my co-host Bad Then. Do not send them to Sauce Bulletins. Thank you.
I mean, come on, Corey. Don't you agree that wouldn't you side with Dooku after watching Tales of the Jedi? So, anyway, now, anything else you want to say about the Rebel Moon Part 2 trailer?
No, I know there'll probably be another trailer coming out soon. At least I hope so. If not, we can wait on the movie. I want to see the complete rated R cut, both films together at one time, because I felt like I missed out on so much of the PG-13 version. But that's just a little nitpick on my own.
It'll be BVS.
Yeah, I mean the Ultimate Edition
all over again.
Yeah, exactly. But the Ultimate Edition is way better than the theatrical edition. But that's just besides the point.
But I think that's the point, though, is that this is the BVS situation all over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
What up? Oh yeah, I know Zach's read the novelization, which is based off the director's cut. So, but yeah, I think it'll be great once we see the extended versions of both. I think a lot of people will change their minds, just like
Yeah.
BVS.
Yeah.
So, and again, great time to bring that up because it is BVS Day after all.
Yeah.
So now, as much as this trailer impressed me, I'm gonna be honest with you, Socks. This one did not impress me so much because here's the biggest flaw in this trailer. What's the plot?
Dude, we are on the same wavelength. I don't know what this is supposed to be about. I don't know what this is. I really don't. All I saw was a Sith and some Jedi. Is this after the purge of the fall of the Jedi when the Jedi gets slaughtered during Revenge of the Sith? I don't know. Obviously, I think it is, but I don't know what this is. I really don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When you do a trailer, we're not supposed to have to do research on what the trailer is. You're supposed to get general audience are supposed to see the trailer and be grabbed from it. The only prior information that should be required to viewing a trailer is if it's a sequel to previous movies. Like if you had to watch like episodes 1 through 6 to understand it, well, yeah, fine, fair enough. But like I think the problem too, this is all new characters. These are all 100% new characters, not a single returning character, which is fine, mind you. I'm not criticizing that. What I'm criticizing is that you have to try a lot harder in the trailer to get us into it because, well, I mean, we just talked about Rebel Moon. The thing is with Rebel Moon, it's a part two to a part one that we already saw. So they don't need to show as much to get us excited. Or Bad Batch. I mean, look at the Bad Batch trailer. Is that they just showed random footage of Asajj Ventress and Fennec Shan, and that's enough to get us excited because we know those characters. They're characters we are familiar with. We don't need to really see them do anything other than them just being there. The problem with the Acolyte, these are all new characters. I don't know a single one of their names from the trailer. I just see fighting, and I'm like, why can't this just be Anakin and Obi-Wan?
The only thing I saw in this trailer that acted like that as anything remotely recognizable to me was Carrie Ann Moss, and she was in the Matrix films. Okay, so she was in that. I recognized her because of that. But we don't know what her character is in this film. We don't know any of these other characters. I thought this show was supposed to be based on the Sith. That's what I was going into. Now, I'm kind of gotta tell you, dude, I'm kind of nervous about this show in the first place because this was a Kathleen Kennedy pushed hard. Right, and this is the one show I'm like,
Do you get this reference?
Yeah, exactly, right, exactly. This is it. This is the Kathleen Kennedy push Star Wars show. I don't know if Filoni has any real heavy input in this, or Jon Favreau or whatever, but this is the one show even I'm looking at like, I don't know.
South Park got it right. I'll say that. From watching this trailer.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna take a chance on it. I'm gonna look at it and see what it is. Hopefully I'm wrong. I hope to be wrong. But I don't know.
But here's the thing. You only have one chance to make a good first impression. And the thing is, even let's just say the show is going to be a great show. The thing is, the problem is with a lot of people, once you see that bad trailer, that's the stigma that's going to be in a lot of people's heads right now. That's the thing, because perception's a very powerful thing. A lot of people, if they go into hating something, they're going to hate it. That's why a lot of the fandom menace just blindly hates everything Disney Star Wars. And I want to make this clear. I don't hate everything Disney Star Wars. I think there's a lot of great stuff Disney Star Wars has done. But here's what I say. To be truly objective, praise what's good, hate what's bad. Don't love it because it's Disney. Don't hate it because it's Disney.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I'll take a chance on it. When it comes on, I will take a chance on it. I don't set my standards way too high or too low. I go in it cold on anything I go watching just to see how it turns out. I do get a little nervous when I know who's behind certain projects. I admit to it, but I'm gonna go in cold and see how it turns out, and we'll find out then and there.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You're right. Unfortunately, that is the reality. Is that But here's the thing, though, because Sox and I aren't blindly like those people who are grifting on hating stuff. When we say we don't like something, you know you can take it seriously. If I see
Yeah.
someone from Fandom Menace be like, "Well, I didn't like this latest Ahsoka," so I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. You were gonna hate it no matter what it was." I mean, if George Lucas directed that exact same episode before Disney bought Star Wars, you would be singing its praises. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah, he's right. My co-host is right. Those are facts because these people are completely 100% pure bias against anything Disney, and they won't ever admit that they're wrong because it will ruin their agenda.
Yeah, exactly. And and we'll get into the Bad Batch. I'll just say right now, there's parts of the show I love. There's parts of the show that I'm like kind of head about, and that's like this is what people need to remember. Things are not all good or all bad. That's the problem I have. Like nowadays with people, it's like something's either as good as The Empire Strikes Back or it's as bad as The Last Jedi. And it's like there's plenty of middle ground between those two.
Sure. Uh, the thing on a side note, and Zahra, thank you for bringing it up. There's more to that George Lucas thing going on with Bob Iger and him against him siding with Bob Iger. I don't see that as just one little thing. I think there's something behind the scenes that's going on between them two, which is a good thing that we just don't know about yet. Because I'm not ready to hate George Lucas or Bob Iger. I have a few issues against Iger, but nothing major. I have more issues against Nelson Peltz and Ike Permuter. I'm sorry, those are not good people in the industry whatsoever. And the Phantom Menace want to support Peltz and Ike Permuter and say that they're good guys. No. If you knew anything about what Mikey's son told us, rest in peace, Mikey, we miss you. You knew damn well why Ike Permuter was a bad guy.
Exactly. Well said. And I'll say this too, in terms of George Lucas, let's be honest. The Phantom Menace was attacking George Lucas before he sold Disney to Star Wars. Heck, when he sold Disney to Star Wars, I saw people like saying, "Yay, George Lucas no longer can touch Star Wars." I saw that, mind you.
Mm-hmm. I remember when they were attacking Lucas back during the prequels. Another thing, and I've got to say this again, the hate that George Lucas gets for the prequels is the same hate that Zack Snyder gets for what he did with Snyderverse. It's the same thing. I was there right from the beginning with the prequels, and I hated it then because I love the prequels. I'm a Star Wars prequel fan. I'm a diehard Star Wars Special Edition fan. I grew up watching the original trilogy in the theaters. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater in 1983. Okay? Special Editions came out, to me, it was even better. Prequels, just as great. But these fans that came out and said they hated, absolutely hated the prequels are the same ones that come out and say they hate Snyderverse. You know what? F all you people. Because none of you have any real reason to hate these films. You just hate it because it doesn't fit your narrative. Save your money. Go make your own film so we can criticize what you do and it will make you feel how you made these other directors feel.
I had to blow you up for that. I had to. Well said. And look, if we hate this show, it's because we hate the show because of its own quality. That's it. Look, the trailer sucked. Let's just be honest here. There was nothing impressive about the trailer. There's nothing that really got me excited about it. There's a reason why we're spending more time talking about the politics of Disney Star Wars than we are the trailer itself. It was bland. It was bland as shit. Nothing that we haven't seen before. The only thing that changed is that it's characters we don't know about. And again, I want to make this clear. It's great to do shows about characters that are new. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you need to try harder in the trailer because now you have to make us care about characters that we have not previously cared about. Because that does take something that takes effort to do. And we should see new characters. We absolutely should. But you have to work at it. And that starts with the trailer.
If you look at the MCU, for what it is. And whether you like it or don't like it, I understand it. One of the few things that Feige got right, and there's a lot he got right, he will introduce a new character in a film. Let's say it's a sequel to a film, to a previous film. Let's say Winter Soldier. He introduced Bucky, right? Bucky later on went on to be a part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You got Civil War. He introduced Spider-Man. Spider-Man got his films after that film. Black Panther got his films after that film. Why can't Star Wars do the same thing? Why couldn't they just look at Star Wars and say, hey, man, we can do this with the Acolyte. We can introduce a character that was in this film and put him over here. You did it with Andor. You did it with Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan show. You did it with the Bad Batch and the Clone Wars. You did it with every other show there is. But the Acolyte is the one show, I don't know who these characters are.
You know, it might make sense based on like the timeline it's supposed to take place. I can maybe understand why they're not introduced in previous stuff, but previous iterations of movies and stuff. But again, you still have to grab us. That is the big thing. You have to grab us. And honestly, the trailer didn't right now. Because here's the thing. There's only so much time people have in a day. There's only so much time in a day, and people are deciding what they want to make their time for and what shows they want to watch. If they see a trailer that's not interesting, they're not going to watch it. Look, Zack and I are Star Wars guys. We're going to watch this show no matter what. Yeah. And you know, we'll probably review it on this channel too. We'll definitely review it on this channel, but you need the general audience to watch it. You need the people who are not into all this YouTube stuff to watch it. And if you don't have that, you don't have it. Simple as that. So overall, this trailer was a failure, and I hope we're wrong, but they already lost a lot. They have an uphill battle from here on out. I'll just say that.
It's gonna be rough. But hopefully that first episode, whatever it is, catches people's attention and becomes something to watch. Other than that, again, I'm nervous about it, dude. I really am.
Same here. So now let's get into the Bad Batch review. So first, before we get started, I kind of want to get our backgrounds on like where we are with the animated shows. I guess, Sox, what's your history with the Star Wars animated shows?
I watched all the Clone Wars before I watched Bad Batch. I went back and watched all the Star Wars Rebels because I wanted to catch up on that before. But I finished that before Ahsoka started, and I've been watching Bad Batch ever since the beginning. So I've been liking them. I like the whole three. I haven't watched Star Wars Resistance yet. I haven't looked at that.
You don't need to see it. I saw it in. To me, I watched it when COVID first started and I was on furlough and I had nothing but time. It was like this. It's like a guilty pleasure for me. It's a show I enjoyed, but it's not a show I'm going to defend at all. So you don't need to see it.
But I watched Tales of the Jedi. I watched that. So far I've seen pretty much all of them. But I don't know which one I like most. I like Rebels in a lot of ways. I like Clone Wars in a lot of ways. I definitely love Bad Batch.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to decide. Like, so I've seen all the animated shows too, even Tales of the Jedi, or even Resistance was the one that you haven't seen. But yeah, I saw Tales of the Jedi, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels. See, there's stuff I like about Rebels better, and there's stuff I like about Clone Wars better. Clone Wars has better animation. Clone Wars has way better animation than Rebels does. Rebels, though, I think did some stuff I like better. Like, I think, one, they just told the story in chronological order. They didn't change the order for no reason, like George Lucas did.
There are definitely, well, I shouldn't say like that. The one thing I've learned about Star Wars animation, whether it's Rebels, Clone Wars, or even Bad Batch, there's some serious moments in these cartoons, people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen some characters get killed off or, really messed up. And you're like, whoa, they allowed that to happen? Like, wow, okay. I mean,
not a kid show, people. Yeah. They're not kid shows.
I mean, the final episode of Clone Wars, the final maybe 10 minutes of it, the last episode is scary. how that ended, man. And if you haven't seen that one last scene where Ahsoka's looking at all the dead clones in the graves, and you hear that music playing, and she walks away knowing that all these people that she fought on side with died, and then later on you see Vader come. That's some scary stuff, man. I mean, jeez. And he's looking up and he finds her lightsaber. He looks up and he sees the bird flying by. That's some scary moments right there, man. Because that was the height of the Empire right there. And I don't know. I see things differently than most people. I put things into a different perspective, I guess.
When you're right, though, it's like that. There's a lot of dark stuff in these shows, and like, there's actually some YouTube videos that's called "Clone Wars is a kids show," and then but like what it is, the title's ironic though. They're ironic titles. It's called "Clone Wars is a kids show," and then you see all these violent acts. You see all these lightsaber stabbings. You see, there's one where you literally see, I forgot the Jedi's name. You know that alien Jedi? He's like orange. He has like the flat head, the Coolman.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't pronounce his name. I know exactly who you're talking about.
But there's a segment where in one of those videos where he literally orders his armies to burn the enemy alive in a kids show, in a kids show, in a kids show. Like, no, I mean, look, we're both doing an X-Men review series. We've seen Batman the Animated Series, Justice League the Animated Series. Anyone who's a fan of superheroes should know that just because it's animated doesn't necessarily mean it's for kids or it's just for kids. And I mean, here's my question: what do you need for it to be an adult show? Do you need them to just randomly drop the F-bomb just so we know it's okay for adults? Is that what we need? Like Titans, the live action Titan show where they just say the F-bomb for the heck of it, just so that the writer's like, hey guys, this isn't a kid's show. Look, you're saying fuck a million times.
Just because you use that word or whatever doesn't make it better or worse. It's just there just to be there. It doesn't change anything because you can have a hard show with good writing. It always comes down to the writing. If the writing is solid, you can make it anything you want to be.
Exactly. But the writing has to be good. In fact, if anything, just throwing an F-bomb for the sake of it, if anything, that makes it more childish.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've seen shows where you get, say the F bomb or whatever, and they say, well, it's because of this. Like, yeah, but the writing sucks. I mean, what you want me to support it because it has the F bomb in it? My God, I could watch The Sopranos and I hear the F bomb every other word.
Exactly. And again, I'm not offended by, just to clarify, I'm not offended by hearing those words in shows and movies. Make no mistake, I watch plenty of that stuff. I mean, again, you just saw me just say it just now. I've said it on this stream before. But the point is, I don't need to hear it just for the sake of it, just for the sake of knowing it's for adults. The thing is, with these Star Wars animated shows, the plots are good, the stories are compelling. That's all I need. I don't care that it's for adult, like it's like for kids because it's on Cartoon Network. And
there was a time some years ago.
I think you're cutting off a little bit.
Some years ago, there. It's a me. I mean, I'm gonna go out and I'll refresh. How about that?
Well, that was a great refresher. Right when Sox said he was going on a refresher. And while we wait for Sox to come back, I just kind of want to continue this point a little bit, is that the shows have good, compelling storylines. There's great detail that pays attention to. I mean, think of it like this. In Clone Wars, or we'll start in Revenge of the Sith, Grievous has the biggest throwaway line, is that Anakin Skywalker, I expected someone of your reputation to be a bit older. And then Anakin replies, Grievous, you're shorter than I expected. This dialogue shows that this is the first time they met. And this is the only time you hear this dialogue, mind you. It's nothing they made a big deal about. Most shows, honestly, with most writers, they would have just ignored that and had Anakin and Grievous fight a million times. No, not Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni went out of his way, mind you, in Clone Wars to make it that Anakin and Grievous never come face to face. Is that, and at times it's like they go so out of their way for them not to meet. But Dave Filoni pays attention to details because he understands the value of his audience. You back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that, Henry. Wanted to refresh my internet here.
So what were we going to say before you got cut off?
I don't even remember.
Okay, well, if we get a chance to come back to it, then... But yeah, I mean, overall, the point is we both are very passionate about the Star Wars animated shows, and I think it's some of the best Star Wars content out there, to be honest with you. I mean, I think...
Well,
I mean, I like Ahsoka. I mean, I like the Ahsoka series. I want to clarify, don't get me wrong. But if I had a choice between animated Ahsoka and Sabine or live action Ahsoka and Sabine, I'm going to go with animated. I'm going to be honest.
I remember what I was going to say now. There was some talk some years ago that people wanted a R-rated Star Wars movie, and I kind of like frowned upon that for a long time. Like, I don't know why. And then I heard people say, "Well, we should get Quentin Tarantino to do Star Wars." And I was like, "No, no, no, no." Why? Because he could say the F word. Tarantino doesn't even know how to capture pain right. I mean, he tells good stories, but he doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to somebody losing a limb. That's a whole other tangent I got about Quentin Tarantino films altogether. Anyway, having an R-rated Star Wars film to me is like, I don't know if I'm totally against it now after I've seen Rogue One or Andor and so on, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's the best thing ever to do, because if you could do a film PG-13 and make this really solid like Rogue One was, why does it have to be rated R? Just because of the rating system? Because you want to put an R on there and just say, well, my Star Wars is rated R. Okay, it's rated R. What is the reason why you want to make it rated R? Why does it have to be rated R? Why? Because to fill your ego? Or are you doing it because you're trying to make a good story? You gotta ask these questions, man.
Exactly. And exactly. And
Yeah.
well, they were actually supposed to say "fuck the Empire." What's her face? Andor's adoptive mom, when she gives that hologram speech, it was actually supposed to say "fuck the Empire," and that would have been cool if they allowed that. I understand Disney didn't allow it, but that's where it would have been actually cool if they said the F bomb. That wouldn't have been a random. It would have been so. And yeah, it's definitely a slow burn. I agree with you, but overall, the point is we're both passionate about the animated shows, and Anakin. It also improved Anakin's character, mind you. Anakin is a much better character, and the fact that Dave Filoni had Hayden Christensen model his performance after Matt Latner shows the real influence that the animated shows have. So now let's get to our thoughts. Just again, we won't go too far into this because the focus is mostly season 3. But I guess Sax, what are your thoughts on like the Bad Batch arc in Clone Wars and then seasons 1 and 2?
It's definitely a show that, if you're not invested into the Clone Wars, you may not understand the Bad Batch because it leads right into it, or it comes right out of it, because there's a reason why they're called the Bad Batch, because they didn't follow the programming that the Emperor wanted to do. They got out of it. Same with Reds. Reds got out of the programming as well because of Ahsoka. And they became their own thing. But yet they're hunted for it because they're not a part of that whole agenda to wipe out and slaughter the Jedi. They didn't want to be a part of it. Again, Ahsoka and some other Jedi helped them along the way. But, I personally think, well, Disney is the Empire. Qatar, to an extent. I'll say that. To an extent, Disney is the Empire. I can't. I can't support everything Disney does on every little thing. They made a lot of mistakes along the way, but they also did a lot of good. So I
Yeah.
can't say 100% Empire. I'll say 60% Empire. How about that? You know, they're not 100% pure evil, not 100% pure bad, but they I won't. I can't throw Disney under the bus completely.
But yeah, I mean, I do like the Clone Wars arc in Bad Batch and seasons 1 and 2. I mean, like, I thought the Clone Wars arc was a great way of introducing the Bad Batch, getting us really familiar with these characters. And seasons 1 and 2, I like seasons 1 and 2. I think it started off great. I think the biggest weakness of seasons 1 and 2, which honestly I don't have too much of an issue with this season so far, are some of the filler episodes. Like there are
Yeah.
certain points where the Bad Batch is doing random missions for Sid. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I guess. But when they're doing like stuff for the against the Empire or running from the Empire, that's when the show is interesting.
What I noticed also when I started watching the Bad Batch, I was praying to God they weren't gonna make Omega a Mary Sue. I didn't want her to be another Ray Skywalker. Like she knows how to do everything right away, and she's the ultimate power in the group, and she's like, gonna be this dominating force in the group. She's not done. She's not like that at all. She made mistakes. She's a kid. I can actually, side with her on a lot of things that she's done. I had no ill feelings towards her. And I'm glad that Dave Filoni didn't make her out to be like another Ray Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. I think, we'll talk more when we get to Omega's character, but I think Omega was a character that we really grew with, and I think they did a good job with her, because it's also hard when you introduce kid characters. Now, I know Omega's technically older than the Bad Batch, but like, in terms of like, but the thing is too, the Bad Batch, their growth, like the way that their accelerated growth, that affected their maturity and stuff too. So, I mean, they're still more qualified adults than Omega is. So, but the point is though, they she was a slow burn, but they did a good job with her, and I it's really cool with the first 2 seasons because you really get, what I love about the show is that you really see the transition from the Republic to the Empire a lot more. You see how the clones started to get slowly phased out. That you see how, and I like how they kind of explain the inhibitor chips more. Is that the inhibitor chips at the end of the day, they had one specific goal: kill the Jedi. That goal was achieved. That doesn't The inhibitor chip didn't completely demonetize their morals, though. The only thing it made them do was kill the Jedi. But once that was achieved, as you see, they are starting to question the Empire's order slowly and slowly. So I thought that was really
Yeah,
clever how they do that.
yeah. I love the last episode of the Clone Wars, or the second last episode of Clone Wars, where you can see how the Emperor said initiate 66. You see how the clones are just like struggling with that, and it's like they have no control over it. They're going to switch over and start slaughtering the Jedi, and they're going to start shooting at Ahsoka. That's some scary written stuff, man. I'm sorry, your friends, that people you fall on side with for years, are now going to try to kill you, and you're like looking at them like, what is wrong here? That's some scary stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And again, only Rex could only fight it because a certain person who I'm gonna name later warned him about the inhibitor chips. That's the only reason though Rex was able to fight it just a little bit, because he kind of knew about it, whereas the other clones, they didn't know about it, so there was nothing helping them fight it a little bit. So, and we're gonna talk about this person actually very soon. But overall, I think I do like the Bad Batch. I think it has some hits and it has some misses in the first 2 seasons, but overall, I think it's a great show. I guess. What about you, Sox?
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely something that I look forward to. It's sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm loving it. I have not missed one episode of it so far.
I'll say this though, I'm kind of glad it's ending though, because here's the thing: shows don't stay good forever. They
Yeah,
don't. So I'd rather it end now and end on a good note than end than have some very shit ending. Like I'm a big fan of Supernatural, but that show should have ended after season 5. There was no reason that show continued on past season 5 except for money.
That went on for 15 years, right?
Yeah, 15 seasons. And the original showrunner, Eric Kripke, he had a 5-season plan. After that plan concluded, he left. Because, I mean, literally, if you watch the last episode of season 5, it ends like a finale. There's no reason for it to continue after that episode. But the network CW continued because they wanted money.
I never watched one episode of that show.
No, I mean, if you ever watch the show, just watch the first 5 seasons. You don't need to watch anything else past that.
That's a long time. 15 years for that show. I knew it went on for a while. I was like, this show is still going on? Like The Simpsons. Jesus. And Simpsons has been on almost twice as long as Supernatural. That's going on for 35 years now. Jesus Christ.
But that's the whole point, though, is that with Bad Batch, it's ending here. We'll get hopefully a proper conclusion for the Bad Batch, and we'll definitely talk about that later on. But anyway, let's get on to the main event now.
All right.
Nala Se. Now, since we're talking about Nala Se's character, I just want to quickly say, she's the Camino person. She's one of the one who's like created Omega, basically. And I just want to say right here, justice for Fives, because if you remember Fives' arc in Clone Wars, Fives tried to warn everyone about the inhibitor chips, and no one listened to him. And Nala Se drugged Fives to make him look crazy. Nala Se did that to Fives. So I'm sorry, but seeing Nala Se get tortured, seeing her imprisoned, honestly, I think that's too good for her. I want to see Nala Se suffer for what she did to Fives. I want Nala Se to get her comeuppance. I want Rex or Echo to shoot her dead and say, justice for Fives. I want them to find out that, because, I mean, Rex and Echo know that Fives is right now, but they don't know that Fives was drugged by Nala Se. I want them to find out that Nala Se drugged Fives, and I want them to really go after her. You do not mess with my boy Fives. No.
You said everything that I was thinking, my friend, because I agree that thing needs to be eradicated, is my way of putting it. She needs to be eradicated from existence.
Hopefully not. And yep, Fives was right. One Punch Dan. Yep. You'll definitely have to catch this show last night, Socks, from last night. You'll definitely.
All right.
I made one comment about punching Karens, let's say, and all of a sudden it got translated into that I hate old people.
You hate old people?
Well, okay, so basically what I said is, in Army of Thieves, there's some Karens that Dieter has to deal with, and I said, I don't care if you're an old lady. If you're a Karen, I'm going to punch you.
My co-host is advocating violence towards senior citizens. Send all questions and complaints to my co-host, people. Thank you.
So, anyway, Nala Se, though, oh, no. I want Nala Se to suffer for what she did to Fives. But, I mean, and this is, but to be honest, though, in all seriousness, though, this is the problem. It's like they're trying to make us care for Nala Se because she's clearly looking out for Omega. She is doing that. But I'm sorry. It's hard for me to care about her after what she did to Fives. I mean, I know I should let a little detail like that go, but I can't. Given all the continuity there is with Bad Batch, I cannot feel sorry for Nala Se at all. I feel zero for her. Like, no matter what happens to her, I'm like, Hemlock, do whatever you want to her. I could care less.
Why don't you just feed Nala Se to the Rancor and be done with it?
No, that's too quick. That's way too quick.
All right, fine. Then take Nala Se and drop her down the fucking pit of that pit that's Starlight Pit, where it be dissolved for over 100 years.
Yeah, that I can live with. That I can go with. Take her to a Sarlacc pit. That's what I want. Fives and I want Rex and Echo to personally escort her to a Sarlacc pit and throw her in there. But honestly, though, with her character, I'm sure she'll break out. I'm sure she'll do something to save Omega, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her afterwards. But nope, I'm sorry.
So
You made Fives look crazy.
My question is to you for this: if, say, by the time the end of this season wraps up, which is a few more episodes, and now let's say doesn't get her comeuppance, and she gets to go free and her rest of her life, whatever, are you gonna have a rage fit on YouTube?
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I totally am.
Okay. Hey, I understand it. All right. You heard it here first, people. If Nalase doesn't get killed, my co-host is gonna have a rage fit on YouTube.
But I mean, here's the thing: Fives could have saved everything. He tried to warn everyone about the inhibitor chips, which committed Order 66. Fives had the potential to stop Palpatine. He claimed the closest to stopping Palpatine. If it wasn't for Nalase, like I blame Nalase way more than I blame Anakin for the rise of the Empire.
How is that?
Because Fives tried to warn everyone about the inhibitor chips, and Nalase stopped Fives from doing it. And at that point, Anakin wasn't siding with Palpatine, whereas Palpatine manipulated Anakin, and Obi-Wan gave up on him, so you can't hold Anakin responsible.
I'll have to think about that one. Yeah. I'll have to think about that one. All right. That's.
I guess do you have any closing thoughts on Nalase? Okay.
Nope, because we're gonna be on this Nalase business for at least another hour and a half, and I want to prevent you from getting our channel taken off YouTube altogether because you're getting heated about this character real bad. I can already feel it to the monitor.
So this character now, Royce Hemlock, the evil scientist.
This person needs to be eradicated, exterminated, terminated, just point blank range, put into the ground, be done with it.
I mean, look, I don't hate him as much as I do Nalase, but this guy is evil. This guy is sadistic. Like he views the clones as property, as experiments, and he just the actor does a really good job though. He does a really good job of playing this cold, calculating sadistic. He has this like calm, sadistic demeanor to him. Like I don't know how like it's like a weird mix of calm and sadistic. It's but it works so well for this character. Like he is not someone you want to mess with.
I don't care. Be done with him. Eradicate. Terminate. Move on. Let's go.
But here's what I think though with this character. Like here's something I don't get is that he's very lucky that Palpatine just happened to leave right before the escape was announced. Because you know how Palpatine gave him unlimited resources basically for his project? If he found out that they lost Crosshair and Omega, do you think he would do that? Palpatine doesn't tolerate failure, people. Like he is very lucky that Palpatine left when he did, because I can guarantee you Palpatine would have blasted him that day.
Yeah.
If he found out. Like
what do you mean Sock chooses violence, Keatar? How can I choose violence? What would I well, yeah, okay, fine. Maybe a little I would choose a little violence over that character. Alright, fine, I'll let that one go.
11, Zodwriter. 11. You mess with my boy Fives. I'm sorry. I have to defend my boy Fives.
Some bloody vengeful people in this chat today, me and you. You hate that one character, I despise the other one. So yeah, there you go.
But I mean, he is a compelling villain, though. He is. I mean, here's the thing. At least he's a villain, and he's a guy we're supposed to hate, like Noble in Rebel Moon. You hate him, but you hate him the way you're supposed to, which is what makes him a good character, which makes a well-written character.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. I'm always harder on characters that we're not supposed to hate that we hate, because that means the writing did a bad job. but we're supposed to hate this guy. And and keep in mind, he didn't even want to punish Crosshair for killing his commanding officer. Even the non-clones are expendable to him. Because remember, he said to Crosshair that showed initiative. He didn't punish Crosshair for. So I don't know. I think.
Yeah, but did you hate Crosshair last season?
No, I found Crosshair's story very compelling.
But he betrayed the Bad Batch.
I have a lot more thoughts on that. We'll get into that when we get to the Crosshair section.
Okay, fine.
So now, this character is really interesting too. The one who, it seems like there is some hidden compassion with her, because remember, she gave Omega that toy for no reason, that toy back, that pseudo stuffed animal thingy.
Yeah. She's weird to me. One minute she plays one side of the fence, the other minute she plays the other side of the fence. I don't necessarily trust her, but I don't hate her. But I would keep a very close eye on her altogether.
Yeah, here's my thing. Here's my prediction with this character, though. I think again, there's a lot of people who are in the Empire. They're doing it to survive. They're not necessarily doing it because they want to. And I think this is what this character strikes me as: is that she's trying to survive. Is that she knows she can't fight the Empire, so she has to do what she has to do.
So basically, what you're saying is she's a bootlicker.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest here. Can you say that you or me, though, if we were not in the exact same situation? And I don't get what that emoji is supposed to be.
Neither do I.
I just hate Nalase. That's who I hate in this show. Everyone else is not as bad as her. It's Nalase who I want to suffer.
So if somebody bought you a Nalase toy doll, what would you do with it? Burn it? Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back on track. Anyways, I don't know though. There's not a lot of this character that they've really shown. You only see a little bit of her, but I think there is something. I think she is eventually going to help Omega. Now, I thought Omega was stupid to try to trust her in that arc when they were trying to escape. I don't know why Omega thought you could trust her. I'm like, she showed a little compassion, but well,
let me say it to you like this: if you have a person come to you and they smack you in the face and they say, "I love you," do you trust them or do you hate them?
Oh no, I hate them completely. I mean,
okay.
She hasn't quite done that yet, but I know. I mean, she didn't even capture them. They were brought to her, and she's just doing what she has to do. So I don't know. I still think I think she has a better chance of redemption to me than that other female character that we talked about earlier. I'll just say that.
I could probably agree to that, but then again, she hasn't poisoned 5 yet. Unless she comes out and then she does that, then you're gonna be like, I want this character killed.
Yeah, well, 5's trumps all. If Anakin, now I'm not talking about if Anakin, let's say, actually betrayed 5's, that would be the only thing that would make me side against Anakin.
Anakin killed children when he became part of the Empire.
Well, to be fair, he thought they were evil children.
They were kids, man. They were younglings. He slaughtered them.
But the Jedi Order was corrupt, and they were part of the Jedi Order, so he thought they were evil kids.
Okay, let me explain this to you. You are literally justifying the murder of the slaughtering of Jedi children, and you're gonna sit there and tell.
I'm not saying Anakin was right, but there's a reason why I root for his redemption a lot more than other characters, is all I'm saying.
I did too. I'm not saying that I didn't root for his redemption, but I'm trying to just point out there's a certain thing that he slaughtered Jedi children. He found redemption, so I can. I've heard people say that about. God forbid, I'm sorry, I gotta bring this up. Kylo Ren cannot find redemption. Bullshit. If Anakin Skywalker can find redemption, anybody can find redemption. Unless your name is Nala Say, whatever that character's name was.
Nala Say.
So now let's
And
say
he
he can't
thought,
find redemption?
no,
But
not unless she atones for fives. Not and to be fair, Anakin at least killed the Emperor. He killed the Emperor, to be fair. That's a pretty
okay, he
big
did.
feat. That's gonna take so.
Yes. Okay, fine. So Anakin can find redemption for killing the children when he killed the Emperor. But now listen, we'll call her Doo Doo Dada, can't find redemption for what she did.
Yeah, basically. Not unless she atones for fives. Not unless she, even if she confesses her sins to Rex and Echo, even if she does that, I can live with that even.
Are you sure about that?
I want Rex and Echo need to at least punch her.
So just within the span of 2 seconds, you said I can live with that. Then you say I want Rex to punch her. So you went from this extreme to this extreme within 2 seconds.
Hey, I'm trying to find a middle ground here. But anyway, let's move on. We don't need to keep talking about Nalase and all these topics anymore. But I'm going to say this right now with Tech. I really hope that Tech is actually dead because I am really tired, Socks, of all these characters coming back to life, of not actually being dead, of coming back to life, or they didn't really die. It's like death needs to have a permanent substance at some point.
Yeah, I don't think Tech is dead. I really don't because I've been waiting for him to pop up since the season started.
I don't think. Mind you, Zach, I don't think he's dead either. I think he is alive. I hope he's dead, but I think he's alive.
Why do you hope he's dead?
Because I want death to be a real thing. I'm tired of death being this fake thing where it doesn't actually turns out to be BS. I thought that was a really good send off for the character. I thought it was a very bold choice they made, and it has an impact on the team. Let's leave. Death needs to be permanent once in a while, or else we're never going to take it seriously.
Okay, well, let me turn this around on you then, since you're saying that, and I'm going to get some heat for this one. I know it. In the BVS, Superman gets killed by Doomsday. Should he have come back for Zack Snyder's Justice League?
That's kind of an apples to oranges comparison, though, because first of all,
oh my god!
First of all, it's based on an actual storyline of Death of Superman. Second of all, there was more story to tell with his character. He had to help be part of the Justice League and all that. Whereas Tech had 2 whole seasons.
Well, maybe Tech will come in. Maybe Tech will come in this final season and save the day and save the team from being annihilated at the end of the show.
But these are original characters, not based on any comic books whatsoever. So there's no different rules they have to follow. The point is, death needs to be real at some point. And to be fair, this is the final season of Bad Batch, whereas Zack Snyder and his arc had 3 more movies to do.
Okay.
So
you got
and
me
I think he was gonna do a real death at the end with Batman. So
okay.
So, but one thing that really is kind of bothering me though is there's no on-screen reaction to Tech being dead. I mean, Crosshair, he just kind of knows about it. And same with his one girlfriend he had. You know, that one lady who introduced them to the planet that they're on right now. You know who I'm talking about? The pirate person.
Oh, okay.
I forgot her name. I'm just gonna type in Tech's girlfriend Bad Batch to get her, because I want to get her name. Oh, it's Fee. Her name is Fee. That character, and she was like into fives, and it's like we don't see her find like she just knows in that episode, and it just felt like a very disservice to Tech that, and I might have said fives earlier because he's on my brain so much, but Tech, and maybe I didn't, maybe I'm just wrong, but Tech she was so into Tech, and we don't even get to see her find out about his death. She just talking about it, like knows about it. But I'm like, no, I want to see these reactions, people.
Yeah, I agree because that is pretty bad because they just like write out these characters and like there's something missing here. There's more to this story. What's her reaction to the death of this character? He just like he's gone, supposedly gone, and then somebody is like doesn't even you don't even know if they know what's going on.
Well, like when Omega's talking about Tech at the Crosshair when they're trying to escape, I'm thinking, wait, does Crosshair know that Tech's dead? Or when he's talking about meeting up with Hunter and Wrecker, he was like, wait, does he know that Tech's dead? Why isn't he asking about Tech right now? And then I don't know. It felt very. I don't think they did Tech a lot of justice this season, not showing like the reactions to his death, because that's something that we should see. That's something that we should have seen, and we didn't.
Yeah.
So that's one of my criticisms I
How
have
many
with
more
this
episodes
season
are
so
there after
far.
this season? Like what?
This is 8
Yeah.
episodes. This
How
is a
many
15
episodes are this
episode
season? Is
season.
it 10?
15.
Okay, so hopefully. Okay, so hopefully. Well, what are you going to say if Tech shows up? Are you going to be pissed off about it?
I'll be disappointed. Yeah, I'll be disappointed, to be honest with you.
All right. I'm kind of
Because
hoping to see him again, but we'll have to have
it's
a conflict of interest on that one.
well, that's better for discussions though. It's better that we don't agree on everything. Because I mean, we're not an echo chamber on this channel.
We're not
So
even a tech channel. We're not even a tech channel on this channel either. But Echo, get it? Never mind. Bad joke.
anyway, let's move on. Now I guess I'll continue the show by myself. So okay, fine. I'll bring you back.
You're gonna give me a heart attack one day, dude. I swear to fucking God.
Anyway, what do you think about Rex? I mean, he was only in 2 episodes this season, or one episode if you count it as one episode, since it was a two-parter. But
I like Reds. I've never had a problem with Reds. I would love to see it a live at. Wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't Mikey say that there was supposed to be a live action version of Rebels at one point where Reds is actually going to show up later on down the line?
he was in Ahsoka. It's kind of a blink and you miss a cameo, but he was in Ahsoka during one of the flashbacks.
Right. So I know that's coming later on down the line. Yeah, Mikey told us a lot. We learned a lot from good old Mikey. Miss you, Mikey. But yeah, I had no problem with Reds. I never did.
I honestly, I think he makes the show more interesting because he actually is the one who wants to fight against the Empire.
I never understood why Reds didn't join the Bad Batch.
Well, it's because Rex wanted the Bad Batch to help him. He wanted that. But the Bad Batch had to, at the time, take care of Omega. But he recruited them in season 1.
Yeah. I remember.
I mean, he couldn't be part of their squad in Clone Wars because one, he had his own legion he was leading, but also the Bad Batch is specifically the deformed clones.
Mm-hmm.
But I like his character. I think what they need to do with Rex, they need to show him be revealed to be alive to the Empire at some point, because I don't think Wolf is going to rat him out. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Wolf is doing that, because we know that Wolf is going to join Rex because of Rebels. But remember, in Rebels, you see Rex talking to in Rex's introduction to Rebels, he's talking to the Imperial like it's nothing. Like they recognize Rex. They're like, oh yeah, Rex, you're alive. You're doing whatever down here. And we know Rex is going to get broken at some point, mentally speaking, because you see him resign with Wolf and Gregor.
What's the name of that woman that is well, not really supplying. Well, she's giving intel to the Bad Batch. That one lady that owns that bar. What's her name again?
Sid.
I can't think of her name.
Sid, the one. Sid.
I cannot stand her for the life of me. She plays both sides of the fence every single time I turn. She is nothing but about money. That's all she's about.
Oh yeah. And I hope she gets her comeuppance too. I didn't make her a topic because she's not in the hasn't been in the season yet, but I guess before we move on, anything else you got to say about Rex?
No.
So, just for you, Saxo, just for you, I'll add a topic. Just just for you. So now Sid hasn't been in the season yet. She has not been in the season yet, but it's weird because she seemed to show remorse when she ratted them out. But remember in season 2, she didn't care about them when they were stranded on that planet. That's the whole reason the Bad Batch distanced themselves from her.
She, to me, is nothing more than a greedy, money-hungry. I wouldn't trust her as far as I can throw her, dude. And to me, if you put out enough money in front of her, she would turn on her own parents, okay? She is definitely a sellout among all sellouts.
And the Bad Batch has helped her so many times that I think she definitely will be in season 3, though. I think there'll be some point she'll be in season 3, whether or not she gets more intel on them and sells them out, or whether she tries to redeem herself. I don't know, but I mean, even Fee said she didn't trust her, if I recall correctly, even though Fee was friends with her, but even Fee didn't completely trust her.
Well, why would you trust somebody who's going to sell you out, man? Because that would be stupid. It's like going to a used car salesman and say, hey, man, I want to get this car. How many miles is on it? And they tell you, and you're like, okay. And then before you drive it off the lot, it falls apart on you. You don't trust certain used car salesmen, and that's my point.
So, yeah, but I definitely think she'll be here at some point towards the end. I definitely think we're going to see her because I think there's definitely some story left to tell with her. I don't think it'll be a lot, but I definitely think we'll see her towards the end. I think it'll be one episode. My hope is that Crosshair kills her.
I have no problem with that.
So, yeah, I think we're at least at least Sox and I agree about Sid. I mean, I may not hate Sid as much as I do Nala say, but I still don't like Sid right now.
Can we take Sid and Nala say and throw them both down the Sarlacc pit together?
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
You heard it here first, folks.
Now, anyway, this character, Batcher, what do you think of this character?
He's cool. No problem with him.
I like him. He doesn't totally hurt the tone of the show too much. And you know what's interesting, though? The show's called Bad Batch. They're the Bad Batch. And this character's name is Batcher.
She saved him when she was, locked up with him. She fed him and she took care of him, and he's part of the team. I have no problem with him.
And he at least earned his place. He helped Crosshair and Omega escape, and he's been useful on their missions.
Yeah,
that's what I like about him. They gave him a pet, but at least he's useful. He's not just like wondering why he's going to be there, or why he's just there for the sake of being there. No, he actually, I like him. Not too much to say about him, but I think he's a cool character.
As long as he doesn't take away from the story from the other characters, or have like his own something that would ruin the character itself, or the characters themselves. Excuse me, I lost my train of thought here. Ruin the character themselves. No problem with them.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this guy here, Crosshair, you see he's struggling with his hands right now. Do you know what I think? Remember when he said that he removed his inhibitor chip in season 1?
Yeah.
At the end of season 1?
Yeah.
I don't think he did. I think what happened, this is my prediction, is that, remember when season 1, when he got flamed in the head, and I think what happened is the inhibitor chip kind of melted in his brain, and I think that he might have some false memory of doing it. But I don't think that inhibitor chip got completely removed.
And then, in the latest episode, they did a physical check on him, and they couldn't find nothing wrong with him. And the doctor said, I think it's all in his head, it's not in his body. So, psychosomatic.
In his head.
Yeah, that's what I thought the same thing that you thought. Exactly the same thing.
I mean, the thing is, it could be so melted in his brain that they could have missed it, because he obviously was infected in the beginning. It was clear as day, because you had Grand Moff, or I don't know if he was Grand Moff at the time, but Tarkin, he clearly was emphasizing the inhibitor chip and like strengthening the inhibitor chip within him. That was in the pilot. He's like, let's increase the effect of the inhibitor chip.
Yeah.
See, and that's what kind of annoyed me about the Bad Batch, honestly, because in season 1, they don't really try to help Crosshair at all. Because, I mean, look, I know we have a disagreement about Anakin, but as far as the Bad Batch knew in season 1, it was the inhibitor chip that was doing it. I think we can agree that's an excuse for all that stuff. I mean, I think we can agree an inhibitor chip implanted in your brain, making you do stuff against your will. And they didn't really try to help him that much, if you really think about it. And I'm thinking there's certain points where it's like, they could have like set out some plan to try to capture Crosshair and take him somewhere to get that chip removed. Yeah. So I always felt bad for Crosshair in that regard. But his story is very interesting, though. Is that you really see from season 2, he sees how the Empire betrayed him. And his story is just, I feel like he has a compelling story. Is that his path to redemption, I think, it's been very interesting.
I'm glad that he's back with his group that actually care about him. And plus, you can see that Hunter just doesn't necessarily 100% trust him. When he came back, he just like gave him that eye, like, I know you're here. You helped save Omega, but doesn't mean I have to like you for what you did to us. And I understand Hunter's point of view. I get it, because I would be the same way. Like, yeah, I see you.
But they clearly somewhat trust him enough even then, because they brought him to that home planet that they're trying to keep a secret. So I'm thinking when I saw that they were there, I'm like, well, they must somewhat trust him if they brought him there.
They're gonna. I think they trust him again. I think they're just reluctant, which made sense, which is fine, because you would be reluctant if you were in that same position. But I'm glad he's back, because I hated when he left the team. I really did not like that at all. I was real upset about that, because I hate seeing a good group break up, because those characters are a unit. They're a formidable unit. Trying to fight all 5 of them, good luck with that. And when he took him out of that element, it just really bothered me all of season 2. And I really did not like that at all.
Yeah, I get that. Like season 1, I kept thinking, oh, come on, just get the inhibitor chip out of Crosshair and have him join the team. But I think they did that though because you can't have too many characters at once, because then it hurts the show. Because if you notice in season 2, they had Echo join Rex. They had certain episodes where you only see certain members of the Bad Batch. And I think they did that because they knew that you can only have so many characters at once. Like, did you watch Justice League, the animated series?
Yeah, sure.
There's a reason why in that show you very rarely have an episode with all 7 of them in it.
Well, then you had, what was it, Justice League Unlimited, which you had all those characters in it. Or was that the same one you're talking? Because I know it was Justice League, then you had the spin-off and you had more characters. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right about that.
So I understand why they did that, and like why with Crosshair, why they killed off Tech, because I think they did that because they knew Crosshair was joining the team and they couldn't juggle that many characters at once. So
it's hard to do. It's hard to do that. It's hard to take a team and write dialogue for every single character per episode, or for a long time, because there's only so many characters and so much dialogue that can go around.
Exactly. So I understand why they did it, and I like that in season 2 that they gave Crosshair his own episodes instead of trying to like put him with the rest of the Bad Batch, and I think that was really good for Crosshair.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
And I think his story is interesting. Is he's getting used to it. He's softening up around Omega a little bit, and he has an interesting arc. I like this character. I think he's one of the most compelling characters because of what he went through, because of how he sided with the Empire. And they do need to explain that inhibitor chip thing, though, when he removed it exactly, because there's too many questions I have with that. Like, I hope they don't just throw that out the window and be like, Because it felt to me what they were trying to do is they were trying to make it not Crosshair's fault, and then down the line they're like, no, let's make it Crosshair's fault. We'll just say remove the inhibitor chip.
But you know, with Crosshair, if you look at him, the way he's written, not too much. Well, a little bit in this season for sure, not too much, but definitely in season 1 and season 2, he comes across as a very cold, calculated character. You're very standoffish with him because you don't know how he's going to react to certain things. He has that real stone-faced demeanor about him, and you feel that the way he talks, the way he does things. He's not open. He's very closed off. Unlike Wrecker, which is the goof, or Hunter, which is the leader. You know where they stand at. But with Crosshair, it's like, oh, this guy. I don't know if I want to be around him more than maybe a couple of seconds because you don't know how he is, because he has that real, like I said, standoffish demeanor about him. And this season is kind of like letting people a little closer to him, as like Omega got a little closer to him for sure. She's helping him out with the meditation, which I really like that, by the way. I really like how she's teaching the meditation to help him, and he's actually opening up a little bit more. So his inner wall, his outer wall is like breaking down a little bit, and he's actually being a little bit more open. These are character arcs, and I actually like that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think he has a great character arc. I think Crosshair he has a really good arc, and that's what makes him interesting, is that he is becoming more open, especially around Omega. Omega's a good influence, I'd say, has been a good influence, I guess, on her little brother, as she said.
Well, she helped save him, man. She didn't abandon him. You know, she saw him there. She saw him in need. She heard his story and said, you know what, I'm going to try to get him out. And he was resistant at first about not wanting to leave because he didn't think he could offer anything. And he ended up doing it. And they bonded because of that. And that's a connection there. So I see why they're kind of close together like that. You know, and even Hunter said, keep an eye on him.
And the thing with Crosshair, too, keep in mind, when they were on that one planet in the 4th episode, he had a chance to leave. He had the credits to bribe the transportation person or robot or whatever. But he had the chance to bribe them. He had the credits. He didn't have to go and help Omega save Batcher. He could have just left her, but he didn't. It would have been easier for him. He would have been off-world. He would have been free from getting tracked. But, so, I think there's a lot more story with Crosshair. I think he has a really compelling story, and honestly, I predict that he's going to sacrifice himself at the end to save the Bad Batch.
I don't want to see any more Bad Batch characters die. I really don't. I want Tech to come back. And I know my co-hosts are like, I thought that character died already. I want to see the entire team come back and be able to go off into the sunset. Hopefully see them somewhere else down the line, years to come, whatever. But, you know, I'm sentimental that way.
You know, and that's a fair point. And I hope the Bad Batch get a mostly happy ending. But anyway, let's move on now to Echo. This character, I swear, he's barely been in the show. He had one full-on episode, and then he just basically just cameoed in like that 2-parter episode.
You know, it seems to me like they just basically said, we don't know what to do with this character this season. We'll just put him over here, and we'll bring him back probably in the last couple episodes of the season. So, we'll put him over there, and we'll forget about him right now, and we'll worry about what we got to do with here. Okay, let's go on. What?
Yeah, I feel that way too. They don't know what to do with him, and I think it's what I said. They don't know what to do with all the Bad Batch. And the thing is too, he should have some of Tech's abilities because of his upgrade that they had for him. He can hack systems, so he should, in theory, be able to do some of what Tech did. So I don't know. I feel like they could do more with him, but it seems like, again, he hasn't really rejoined the Bad Batch yet. His focus is helping Rex, and the only time he teamed up with the Bad Batch this season was a mission essentially for Rex to get that intel.
There's really not that much we can talk about Echo this season because he hasn't been here.
No. And what I will say in that episode Echo was in, seeing Crosshair sentimental over that his clone friend and putting their helmets up. Again, in Echo's episode, I had more about Crosshair than I do Echo.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I really, other than what we just talked about, there's really nothing all that much important about Echo this season so far.
yeah. Now let's go on to Wrecker. What are your thoughts on Wrecker's character this season?
He cracks me up, man. He is such a goof and so hilarious. Man, I laugh every time with that dude. I cannot help but love that big dude, man. He's just too hilarious in every sense of the word.
I love Wrecker too, and this is what I love about Wrecker. He's big and strong, very like physically, like you would not think to get on his bad side, but he's just a big teddy bear on the inside. And and in this show too, I mean, he was more receptive to trusting Crosshair than Hunter was.
Yeah.
And he he's just like, I just love the character. And like I just think about season 1 when he was under the effects of the inhibitor chip and what a contrast that was, but think about it. They all couldn't restrain him. He was like overpowering them all physically with no problem. It was like a completely different character at that point.
I would imagine that if a character like Wrecker would hit somebody full force, your whole face would probably cave in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Because he's physically that strong. Sorry, I just had to adjust something real quickly, but yeah, I mean, again, it's funny though. With the Bad Batch that we've seen in the previous seasons, even though we see them a lot, there's not too much to say about them. I think honestly, the main characters this season are Omega and Crosshair.
Yeah. So far, yeah, definitely.
I mean, we've seen a lot of Wrecker. He's been cool, but honestly, their biggest episode to me was the last episode where you see them teaming up with Fennec Shand, and then the second episode. But other than that, they're just they're supporting characters really this season. It's all about Crosshair and Omega this season.
Maybe they should call the Bad Batch the Crosshair Omega show.
Well, but I think that's the thing is like every season there's different focuses. You know, the first season I feel like gave Wrecker and Hunter a lot more focus. Then the second season the focus was on Tech and Echo. So now the third season's on Crosshair. So I think it's fitting.
Yeah.
So I mean, same thing with Hunter too. Like, there's just not much to say about Hunter. Is that again? I like that. I like his approach with Crosshair. I like that he was not trusting of Crosshair at first, but eventually, I like that he realized that hey, you know, the Empire was a hard time for us all. It was hard for the clones to know what to do. At the end of the day, Crosshair came through at the end. He came through. He helped the Bad Batch. At the end, Hunter saw that, and I liked how they did that. Though I liked that it took an episode of an adventure together for him to get to that point.
Hunter is definitely a good leader. And one thing I like about the Bad Batch is how they all have their own different personalities and attributes, what they're good at, what they can do as a formal team. And you're gonna probably not understand this reference, but I see the Bad Batch. They remind me so much of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They really do. The way that they're written, the way that they're done, they remind me a lot of the Turtles from the 80s. I don't know anything about the modern Turtles today. I grew up with the original Turtle cartoons from the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. They remind me so much of those characters, the way that they're written.
Yeah, again, I don't totally get that reference. I've seen some commercials, so I know they all have different personalities. So from the little bit I know, I could kind of see it, but I do hope though that this second half of the season gives Hunter and Wrecker a little bit more of a story because we don't really have a lot with them right now. He's a good leader. I like what they did with Crosshair, but honestly, there's not really too much I have to say with him. So, I mean, not a lot to say with Hunter and Wrecker, to be honest with you.
Not really, because, like you said, we barely got a chance to see really any of these real characters, and there's only maybe just 15 episodes, and we're up to episode 8, so they got to start doing something within the next episode or 2 to start bringing these characters back and really filling in what we haven't seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Omega, we know she has a high M count. Okay, can we stop pretending we don't know what the M count is? It's midichlorian count. Let's be honest here. Is this supposed to be some secret or something? Like,
Well,
gee,
according to some hardcore Star Wars fans, the M count's an evil thing. Oh my God, Lucas ruined Star Wars by incorporating the M count. Go f yourselves.
it's just so weird though how they're trying to keep that. Like, they're just like, stop trying to make this a secret. I mean, just admit that it's midi. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know how common knowledge midichlorians is, but you think the clones would know something about it after fighting with the Jedi for so long.
It just it became a divisive word between a lot of Star Wars fans like myself. It doesn't bother me. I'm fine with it, because I had something Lucas wrote it into story. I heard when the prequels, I had no issue with it. I've heard Star Wars fans, I hate it. Like, really? Of all things to hate, you hate that?
But yeah, I don't hate midichlorians, but we know it's midichlorian count, so we don't need to pretend anymore. But I guess, what do you think about Omega's character overall this season?
I love her. Again, I've always, I was kind of nervous going in with her character a couple years ago, but she grew on me, dude. I have no problem with Omega. She's part of the team. She has saved the team. She has supported the team. She works well with the team. I love her character. She has her own flawed issues. She's a kid, even though she's older than the Bad Batch themselves, but she's a kid in a lot of ways. I have no issue with her. I never did. I was totally wrong about her character right from the get go. I'm glad I was wrong. Dave Filoni created a great character.
And yeah, I was same thing. Like, I mean, she grew on me too. At first, the first episode, I'm like, why are they bringing a kid into it? But no, she was essential. And like, it was weird. The second episode of the entire series, when she had the chance to go with the deserter clones family. I think his name was Cut Up. I think his name was. And I'm thinking, why didn't you just go with them? I mean, it's like she wasn't with the Bad Batch that long that she really. I mean, strategically, it made sense. It's like she's just a kid as far as they know. This is a better life for her. But overall, I do. But still, I do like her character. And I think this season, she's the only one who could reach out to Crosshair, mind you. No one else could reach out to Crosshair but her.
If it wasn't for her, Crosshair wouldn't have came back. If it wasn't for her, Crosshair would probably still be in that jail cell and possibly even dead later on.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Omega, is that she actually has pulled her own weight. She's good with the crossbow, and she clearly has a high count with the Force, which I think a lot of us kind of predicted, though, that she had that because of the way she's just good at stuff with shooting as a kid, and we knew there was something special about her. We knew there was something special about her, and yeah, so I do like this character though. I think she's actually one of the highlights of the series, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's the Omega and Crosshair show.
that's how I look at it.
And now, hold on, like, next topic's not coming up here. Okay, there we are. Other speculation. I guess, is there anything else, any other predictions you have for this season?
Other than hopefully Tech coming back, and I know that can rub you the wrong way, and I apologize.
Now, I want to know who Fennec Shan's contact.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing. You're right. Thank you for bringing that up. Now I got to worry about her betraying the team, right? Which we should have known that, because when she said, she didn't give them certain details when they signed on until they got to do the situation. Then when they did the situation, she says, "Oh, by the way, I didn't say I was going to do it. Now I'll find out, and then I'll come back to you." Like, always changing the deal. It's like,
I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it further. Or any further. I don't remember. But here's the thing though.
Right.
My prediction I don't think she is portraying the Bad Batch. I think they're trying to make it look like that, but I think that's the contact that they want to meet. I think that's who she contacted. I think they wanted to misdirect us into making it look like she's portraying them, but I think this is actually the contact that they need.
Well, we're gonna find out soon enough.
Well, we know Asajj Ventress is going to be in the series,
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that. Oh yeah.
and I
Hey,
guess
that.
I know she dies in the novels, and I guess in like the comics or whatever, but I guess they confirmed that story that she dies in, they're not going to retcon. There was like some, I forgot what it was, but yeah, I think so. I think that'll be very interesting. And then Darth, because I swear that we hear the Darth Vader breathing in the trailer.
I have to go back and look at that.
And hey, we know James Earl Jones gave his permission for AI, so it's not like it's going to cost him any more money.
He sold his voice to Disney. That is a thing. Yeah, he did.
So, but I don't know. See, because the thing is, you can't have the Bad Batch go up against too many formidable foes. I mean, even though you see Palpatine in the series, you don't ever see him go up against the Bad Batch because you can't do that because it's Palpatine. You can't have these powerful bad guys go against the Bad Batch. It's like, I mean, have you played Jedi's Fallen Order, the first game with Cal?
Yeah, I played that game.
Well, you know how, like, in the boss battle for Darth Vader, how it's not even a boss battle, it's basically you fight for your life. He doesn't even have a health bar.
I'm sorry, what were you saying about that? I got distracted. I'm sorry, say that again.
You know how in the Fallen Order, the boss battle for Darth Vader, he doesn't have a health bar. He's basically like, you just have to fight for your life and run away from him. It's not even a real boss battle. It's a get the fuck out of there. It's Darth Vader. You can't fight him.
I don't know why. Unless your name is Luke Skywalker, why would you fight Darth Vader?
And that's what I'm saying though. If he really is in Bad Batch season 3, it's just like you got to be careful doing that though, because there's only so many times people can get away from Vader while having be believable.
Well, we have not seen the Bad Batch go up against Vader or the Emperor, have we? Smart writing there, because you don't want to see the Bad Batch go up against Vader. Because if they see Vader, they better get the hell out of there.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he might be in it, but they got to be careful how they do it. And again, we'll find out about what the M count is soon enough. And we'll find out it's midichlorians. But I guess, do you have any major speculation?
Not at this moment, no, because it's still too early to tell. I know we're on episode 8. We got 15 episodes altogether, so it's still too early to tell. Maybe in about another couple episodes, I might have a better idea.
Now, anything we missed? Is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't cover?
I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Can't think of anything. Let's see.
Yeah.
No.
And we'll do the second half of season 3 too. So we'll cover anything we missed, we can cover then. But yeah, overall, I think we kind of covered it all. And I guess, any final thoughts on what would you rate this as?
I think I'll give it about an 8. Maybe. Yeah, I think about it because I just feel I hate knowing that we don't get a chance to see Echo that much. We haven't really seen other, so we've only seen so much story with Omega and Crosshair. Everyone else is like put on the back burner, kind of like, especially with Echo, and we don't even know if Tech is alive. We don't. I gotta agree with you on one thing back then that I hate the fact that they look like they supposedly killed off a character, but he may not actually be gone. He's just like, well, we don't know. We'll just write him out for a little while, and then he'll pop back up, which he's going to probably end up popping back up anyway. So I'm going to have to say it. I might have to say a 7, really. Maybe an 8, right between 7 and 8.
I would probably give it to me. I would give it an 8.592638895 out of 10. I think it's actually my favorite season so far, to be honest with you. I think because less filler episodes. But I think the issue I have is it's. I want to see more of the other Bad Batch having their moments. I want to see Hunter and Wrecker really having their moments, giving me something to talk about because they're the main characters to it, and the fact that we barely talked about them. But like, I love the story with Omega. I love the story with Crosshair, and I think the episodes are a lot more compelling. So, yeah, I think overall, I still think it's their best season yet, to be honest with you. But there are some issues I have with it. So, and we'll see how the season lands. That will be the big thing.
I wonder if there's going to be a spin-off from this show, like Bad Batch was a spin-off of Clone Wars.
Wouldn't surprise me. I think Rex honestly needs to get his spin-off.
Yeah, but I mean, this is going to sound... This makes no sense, and I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. Could there possibly be planning an Omega Crosshair spin-off?
See, it's really weird when you call that like a spin-off because it's like saying Anakin Skywalker gets a spin-off off Star Wars. Anakin Skywalker's the main character.
Right.
Just like Omega's basically the main character of the show, so it's weird to call it a spin-off of. So I don't know. That would be weird to me if they did that for that particular reason, because I feel like the Bad Batch is her spin-off.
Right. But we know that the Bad Batch is a spin-off of the Clone War or the Clone whatever. So I'm wondering if they're going to do that with this, even though I haven't heard anything. So I hope I'm wrong, because the way I remember Dave Filoni, because what Mikey told us is that they're going to do the live action version of Rebels and so on, and that's going to be their thing. So they won't need the animated stuff anymore. They're going to have to they'll come up with some other stuff later on down the line. So yeah, we'll find out.
But overall, I think it was a great show, and yeah, I mean, if it ends properly without spinoff, I think that'd be better, honestly. But we'll see. We'll probably find more in the second half of the season. So now I kind of want to do this. So Good Austin just made me a new intro for Space-Tastic discussions, and like tradition, when I get the new intro, I don't play it at the beginning, I play it at the end. So I hope you enjoy it, Socks. I will not, unfortunately, because of StreamYard sound issues. I enjoyed it before I was on StreamYard. It was great. But with my StreamYard sound issues, it's going to sound like crap to me. So, StreamYard, be better. But to you guys, I hope you enjoy it.
Excuse me.
Thank you. That is kind.
You're a soldier?
Long ago.
Do you mind? I'm Sam.
Please. Tell me, Sam, do you know the story of our slain king and his beautiful daughter, the Princess Visa?
I don't.
Well, you remind me of her.
Tell me what's going on.
I'm here to finish your training.
It's a little late for that.
One is never too old to learn, Snips.
All right. What's the lesson, Master?
Live. Or die.
I fear we lost some measure of our honor since that betrayal. I'm afraid our compassion, our kindness, our very joy died with that young girl.
They've seen you. I won't fight you.
I've heard that before.
So what do you think?
Austin does some real good work, man. He always does. I don't know how he does it, but I gotta give a shout out to the good Austin. He does some real good work when he puts his time and effort into it. And that guy is good job there, Austin. Really good job.
He did a really good job of making the Rebel Moon and the Star Wars blend so perfectly together, because the way I think of Space-Tastic discussions, I think of it primarily, yes, as a Star Wars show, but I also like to include Rebel Moon in it too, because even though I don't want to just say it's Zack's Star Wars, but it's similar enough that it just feels Rebel Moon, I just felt like fit better with Space-Tastic discussions than Bat Dance discussions. So I love how he included both so perfectly, starting with Jimmy, and the way he used stuff from the trailer to get Rebel Moon Part 2 incorporated in there. That was, again, I love the intro. Like, when I'm watching the intro, not on StreamYard, I love the intro because then I actually hear the music and all that. And I know you guys all heard it, so it's impressive. It really was. I think it's some of Austin's best work, honestly.
Yeah, he does some good work, man. I mean, if you guys ever want a great intro for a channel, if you ask Austin, he'll help you. I mean, he'll take his time. He'll take and he'll work at it, and he will deliver something epic for you. And this guy is so good.
Yeah, he really is. And again, shout out to you, Austin. Great work. And guys, if you're looking to really upgrade your channel more, I highly recommend Austin. Yes, he definitely charges, but with the amount of work he does, it's a fair price. So,
Yeah.
Again, shout out to you, good Austin. And going forward, this will be the beginning of my intro.
That's for
my
the
Space-Tastic discussions.
Right. Because we have our own intro with Marvel discussions.
Marvelous discussions. Yep. So, and I guess now that just kind of wrap this up, I guess, Socks, anything coming up for you?
I'm taking a little bit of a break off my channel for a while. I haven't had anything I wanted to rant about. I think I did a video about a week ago. Yeah, I did a video a week ago talking about some stuff, and I put it out there. And I don't think too many people really wanted to see what I had to say, but sometimes I'll get into these rants about whatever, and I'll put it out there, and not to piss people off, but just to say what I'm thinking. Sometimes and I know I could sometimes be like, wow, Sock is really he's really on the opposite side of what everyone else thinks, and I've always been that way. I don't always follow the pack, so to speak, and I've always been like that, but that's just how I am. I do have a habit of ruffling some feathers, so to speak, when it comes to certain films or franchises. Not trying to be cruel or mean or whatever, but I might just look at it and say, hey, man, you all might favor this, but I see a flaw here. And I've actually heard people say, oh, you just hate this because of that. And like, no, it's not true. But we all have opinions, and I respect everyone's opinion. That's all I got to say about that. But no, I haven't had anything I want to complain about lately.
Oh, Sin, you just missed the intro. New Space-Tastic intro, but don't worry, it'll be timestamped in the replay, so...
Hey, Sin.
But you will at least be on next week on this channel next week for the X-Men review show with Zod Rider. And maybe another person, we'll see, but... be on the lookout for that. And coming up for this week, the rest of this week is basically dedicated to Winnie the Pooh. Tomorrow I'll be seeing the movie Blood and Honey 2, and on Wednesday I'll be doing a watch party for the first movie with Zod Rider, Trey of the Bat Channel, and Super Roll Corey. And then on Friday, Zod Rider and I will be giving our it'll be a mix of spoiler and spoiler-free review of Blood and Honey 2. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm glad to be back, guys. I'm glad to be back after my long hiatus. And as you can see, the cold's not completely gone yet, but I had to start sooner or later. So, guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great rants such as these. And on that note, any final words, Socks?
Ta-ta for now.
Have a space-tastic day.